Disneyland tickets can feel like a puzzle. Park hopper, lightning lane add-ons, 1 day, 2 day, 5 days. Don't worry, we'll crack the code and help you pick the right ticket for your trip.
You're listening to Castle Talk Radio. We're live on the airwaves with Becca and Jessica. Now let's jump into this week's episode.
It's often overwhelming trying to figure out what ticket type you want to get and what's right for your trip. One way to decrease the overwhelm in your Disneyland vacation right away is to book your airport transportation early and book it with Arias Transportation. They service all of the area airports. They bring car seats. They even have strollers for you to use and plenty of extra perks like stopping at a store. So add ariastransportation.com to your list of things to do while you're planning your Disneyland vacation. Now, back to the ticket selection.
I have to tell the story. I've kind of told it once before, but I'm going to tell it more about the ticket part now. So I told the story once about how my dentist booked his ticket through Disney, ended up paying as much for his park tickets as he would have for his whole package through Getaway Today. So for those that don't know, we partner with Getaway Today, and you can book through them and get deals at getawaytoday.com/castletalk. However, let me tell you what he did wrong. He is going over a holiday weekend, Memorial Day, which is what it is, right? But what he did was he's like, oh, we only need to park hop for 1 day and we want to do Disneyland a full day because we only need half a day at California Adventure. You can see where this is going, right? He purchased 2 1-day tickets and so if you don't know, 1-day tickets are tiered. And so on days they expect it to be busier, they cost more. And so he bought 2 1-day tickets, one without Park Hopper and one with, for Memorial Day weekend. That's the highest tier. And it was like $194 for just the 1-day, one park ticket, and then like 200 something. So he ended up paying more for these 2 1-day tickets than he would have for a 2-day Park Hopper. But also at the time, there was a crazy good deal for 3-day tickets that was like $79 a day or something like that they had this summer. And so he really overpaid because those 3-day tickets were also cheaper than his 2 1-day tickets. Right. And when I showed him this, and of course, 1-day tickets are only purchased directly through Disney and they do not do refunds. And I wasn't there when I said, call, see if there's any way, right? I wasn't there with him when he called, of course. And so I couldn't say, well, hey, let us upgrade to this one, even though it'd be more than purchasing a Getaway Today. At least it'd be a better deal. Oops. Okay. Anyways, so he paid as much for just the tickets as he would have for his whole vacation had he known to not purchase 2 1-day tickets per person and instead purchase a multi-day ticket.
Yeah, the Disney website, it kind of sets you up to fail. Because I feel like when you're shopping and price comparing at Getaway Today, it's going to automatically give you the best price in there. So if you know you want to go 3 days and you're looking for 3 days, if there is like a better deal during that time frame of that you're going, it's already going to select those tickets. It's not going to play a game with you and be like, oh, but they're regularly this price, so we're just going to have you pay that if you clicked that. Whereas like the Disney website, it's like, it's not like intuitive enough, or maybe it could be, but they just don't want to say like, wait a minute, what you're doing here in your cart is not a smart idea.
Yeah. And what I like about Getaway Today's site is that it will automatically it'll make a package for you with all the different hotels, and that automatically has a certain ticket that they think is a good one for your time, like the length of time you're going and stuff. You can change that later after you pick your hotel. And then it just tells you how it changes your price to do that.
Yeah.
So
and that's kind of what we're getting into as well, is like if certain tickets are better or not,
Yeah. So we're going to break down the different ticket types and what might be best for you. So I put this in the wrong order on our little outline I sent Jessica. So I want to start with, instead of what I had, I want to start with the multi-day tickets versus one-day tickets because we just talked about that. So Jessica,
Mhm.
break it down for us.
Yeah, so 3 days is when you're gonna start seeing those savings come in. And now, those one-day tickets, they are priced by all the stats that Disney has, by the crowd projections, all the things. But if you are going multi days, you definitely want a multi day ticket. That is going to
Mhm.
be usually your best deal. And it also offers the most flexibility so that you don't have to worry about what day you're going and if it's tiered. Because I think that's a big confusion factor for people. They're like, I need to make sure my ticket matches the tier. You do not need to do that with a multi-day ticket. You only need to worry about the tiers matching on single day tickets.
Right. Now, I want to point out one thing. So if you're going on the low or the cheapest days for 1 days and you are going 2 days, people sometimes go, oh, okay, it actually is cheaper to get 2 1-day tickets if you're not,
Mhm.
especially if you're not park hopping, than to get a 2-day ticket. And while it is cheaper, I do find it adds a lot of extra stress. So at that point, you need to decide the money versus the ease, because now you're going to have to try and keep track of which tickets are for which days and which park reservation it's for. And so I
That is a really
definitely
good point.
prefer I prefer just buying the 2-day, even though it might be a little bit more expensive because of the fact that it's just going to be so much easier.
That's such a good point. In the Disneyland app, there's not really a way for you to organize your tickets. And if you've purchased them like multiple 1 days, you're going to have two different tickets that say Jessica's ticket, Becca's ticket. And like you said, you're not going to know which one. And then that hassle at the gate scanning this ticket. And they're like, you don't have a reservation. Um, whenever anything is pressure related or time related, I'm automatically become the most clumsy person ever. Like when I'm trying to board a plane and then all of a sudden I'm dropping my water bottle and I'm dropping my bags and I'm trying to get my ticket out. Like all of a sudden it's just like stress. And same at the ticket gates. It's like, oh my gosh, if one thing doesn't work, I'm like apologizing to the whole line behind me and everyone's getting free churros. So this is not for me.
Um, yeah. Okay. So, and like Jessica said, we really do like the 3-day just because it gives you the amount of time to not feel rushed in the park, I feel like. But they do sell up to 5-day tickets. And if you're coming in from overseas, sometimes in Australia and stuff, there's different offers that can get you longer days. You just have to check on the Disney website with your area information plugged in. Okay, so multi-day. Now let's talk single park versus park hopper, because a lot of people, that's like my dentist, they're like, no, I'm going to do it where I buy one that's not park hopper and one that is. Because when you're buying a multi-day and you want park hopper, you have to get it for every day, right?
I have some reasons why you should get a park hopper ticket and some reasons that you shouldn't. Which ones do you want to hear first?
Well, let's hear why you should, but I want to point one thing out.
Hmm.
The park hopper, it's an additional fee, right? So like I think on 1 day they add 65, I think, to park hop.
Yeah,
Whereas if you
for
get a
now.
5 for now, yeah. Um, but then as you go up, they don't increase it that much where it's like 65 a day. So when you're on a multi-day, just know that even though 1 day is 65, 2 days may only be 75 or 85 or whatever the pricing is when you are purchasing, because we know that changes. So don't think that you're going to pay that 65 or whatever every single day, because it is a
Yeah.
deal when you do it on a multi-day ticket. Okay, so let's hear your reasons why you would park hop.
Okay, so one is the flexibility to hit rides and attractions at both parks. And
Mhm.
hopping at Disneyland Resort is really easy. The parks are really close to each other. Another reason is that the crowds can come and maybe you want to escape the madness and you want to get over to the other park because you're like, this is too much. You can eat at the best food, best snack choices because you have the availability to go back and forth, and you can maximize late nights with entertainment and Disneyland Park being open later than California Adventure.
All great reasons to park hop. I will tell you, I have gone to a park and been like, I am just not vibing with this park today. Nothing to do with crowds or anything. It's just not what I'm feeling. Thank goodness I can park hop. So give me your reasons why you wouldn't add park hopper.
Yeah, perfect. So, park hopping can add stress to your day, especially if you're trying to cram everything into one day. I also think you shouldn't park hop if it's your first visit to Disneyland Resort. I think keeping it simple is smarter. It's also better not to park hop if you have little ones who can't walk as much because even though it's just a little bit a ways, that doesn't sound as much fun. Also, if you're budget conscious and you want to save the money, don't do a park hopper.
Okay. Good thoughts there. Now it's interesting because I always suggest a park hopper to people going for the first time because I feel they're the ones that are going to be like, oh, I really wanted to do this ride. I didn't realize it was in the other park, and I need to get it done. Or they may not know what rides are going to be their favorites. So on the last day, they may be like, dang, I really just wanted to ride Guardians one more time, but I only have Disneyland. So I've actually preferred to say park hopper for first timers, unless you only have 1 or 2 days. And then I say stick to one because you just don't have the time. But those are all really good points and things to take into account. So there's another add-on that we should be talking about on the ticket specifically, and that is Lightning Lane Multi-Pass. Now, this is the newest iteration of Fast Pass. You do have to pay for it now. We're not going to get too much into what it is, but it is the skip the line service on select rides at the Disneyland Resort. And Jessica, I know you love Lightning Lane Multi-Pass. So,
Mhm.
um, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, well, I was just having this conversation with a neighbor who's taking her three young kids to Disneyland really soon. And her kids are preschool age, kindergarten, and then young elementary. And
Okay.
she's getting a multi-day pass. She's going to do 2 days at Disneyland Park, 1 day at California Adventure. And they are getting their tickets through getawaytoday.com/castle talk, of course. And she said, what about Lightning Lane? Should I get that? And at first I said, yeah. But then I was thinking about all the attractions for her group. So this is where you have to really get into like, is this going to be good for your group? The attractions that have Lightning Lane do have a lot of height restrictions. And you know what? Her kids could actually go on a lot of those. But the majority of their time there is not going to be spent on those attractions. So what we decided on is that she's going to purchase without Lightning Lane, and then she is going to do the last day with Lightning Lane and focus on those rides, which is another case for your suggestion about a park hopper. Because then that last day,
Yes.
they can really maximize the Lightning Lane and use it at both parks.
Yes. So definitely something to think about with Lightning Lane. If you're doing one park per day and you're only going to buy Lightning Lane for one day, you're not going to get to utilize it in the other park, right?
Yep.
My feelings on Lightning Lane Multipass is you need to look at it like Jessica talked about. If you are going to use it the majority, like let's say you're going 3 days and you're like, I know I'm going to use it 2 days, once in California Adventure, once in Disneyland, you might as well get it for all 3 days at that point. Now, if it was 5 days, I'd say, okay, still buy it. You know, if you only want 2 days, still buy it each day. But the reason I say you might as well add it on when you purchase your ticket, if you're going 3 days and want to use it too, is because of the fact that you lock in the lowest price available for Lightning Lane. So Lightning Lane Multipass is dynamic pricing when you purchase day Also, you can't purchase it until you've scanned into the park, so you have to take the time to do that when you get in, which can be overwhelming for some people. But I think right now it's 32 or 35, something like that. But again, this changes every time prices go up and stuff. That you lock in that lowest rate when you purchase it with your tickets. Whereas if you go that morning, it could be 39, 40, whatever the pricing is. So definitely think about that. Now, Jessica, here's my question with this. If you had to choose between Parkhopper and Lightning Lane, which would you choose?
For our group, and the one that is like the most frequent when we do our family reunions every summer, we do skip the hopper, add the lightning lane.
Okay. Now, are you doing 2 days, one in each park then, so that you can
Yes.
get the Lightning Lane? Okay. What if you were
Yep.
only going 1 day and you had to choose?
Okay, if I was only doing 1 day in the park and I had to choose between a hopper or a lightning lane,
Yeah.
I think I would do lightning lane because I think that's going to maximize your time. Because
Yeah.
especially if you're not doing lightning lane and you have a hopper, you're going to be using up like even more time. I think the best use
Yeah.
of time is to have the lightning lane.
Yeah. So I agree with the 1 day. On multi-days, I am not 100% sure. Like, I agree if you're purchasing your tickets in advance, but if you're gonna be only purchasing 1 day of Lightning Lane, you need that park hopper so that you can use it in both parks and just really focus and get it done. Um, Other add-ons is the photo pass. So photo pass can be added on, but if you're purchasing Lightning Lane multi-pass, photo pass is included in that. And that's where the photo pass photographers will take your picture throughout the park and you get the digital downloads of that. Now, ride photos, I believe, are still included for every guest right now. But if they ever end that, they also get included with that photo pass. But like I said, PhotoPass, if you buy Lightning Lane Multi-Pass, PhotoPass is included. And only one person has to have the Lightning Lane Multi-Pass to have PhotoPass included. So let's say you're going and, 3 people won't do any of the thrill rides, so it's not worth it to get Lightning Lane for them. That's okay. 2 people can get it, and those will be the ones that do the rides, and they'll also get the PhotoPass. And the
Exactly.
last thing you can purchase online is parking. You can purchase that ahead of time at the
Mhm.
Disneyland website. What are your thoughts on that, Jessica?
There's absolutely no reason to pre-purchase parking. There's no savings. There's really no incentive. I don't see any reason to do that. Have you ever done that?
Abs- no. The only reason I would see to do it is if you are 100% like, I want every expense that I can pay for in advance to be paid for. It's kind of
Mhm.
like the Disney dining plan
Yeah.
over at Walt Disney World. It's not going to
Okay.
save you money necessarily, but it's going to be nice to not have to worry about the price and cost when you're there. So
Okay, yeah, I love that.
that's the only reason I would say to do it. But I definitely also see the downside is if you find out that your hotel's walkable. If it's not
Mhm.
walkable to the parks, it's walkable to the Toy Story lot where you can just hop on a shuttle. You don't want to have prepaid for parking and then not use it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and in that case, if you're really just trying to like lock in your budget, I would go ahead and put that money on a Disney gift card because you can pay parking with a gift card. And again,
mhm.
then you don't have to pre-purchase it because you're not saving any money. So you've got your gift cards that you can spend on dining, you can spend on souvenirs, and other things like that.
Perfect. That's great advice. Okay, so I'm going to, for the last few minutes here, give you a group of people, and you're going to tell me what park
Okay.
ticket types you think that they should get. So the first one is going to be, let's just do my family. We have 2 adults, a teenager, and tweens, and we're going into the parks for 3 days. And we're pretty seasoned people. We know which rides we like. What's your suggestion for our park tickets?
For you guys, I would say no park hopper and add lightning lane
All
because
right.
you know what you want to see, so you're going to get those things in at the park that you're at. You're not going to be making the mistake of like, oops, we forgot that one ride. And your kids are old enough that they're loving the experiences of all the rides that are available for Lightning Lane.
Right. And they're old enough to understand, look, this is our only day in this park, because obviously we're 3 park days. One park's only be a day, one day. So there, it's pretty easy to be like, this is our only day in this park. So we have to do everything you want in this park today. All right. So we have a group of friends, adult friends. There's 6 of them. And they're going for 2 days in the parks.
Adults only, always Lightning Lane. And I can only choose one, right?
No, you can choose both. You can
Okay.
get both.
I might do a hopper with adults, depending on like what. If this is the reason why we debate these two, is if it's a budget constraint. So,
Yeah.
like if it's a budget constraint, I would say Lightning Lane 1 park per day. But I think with the adults, a hopper is really nice because you're gonna stay out later and you're gonna utilize those late hours. So when you're over spending the day at California Adventure, or maybe you're just spending like 8 hours or 7 hours at California Adventure, knock that all out. You're going to go over to Disneyland at night, both nights, so that you can get in like Paint the Night, Fantasmic, fireworks, all the things.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, next one is a family going on their first trip. They have 2 adults, a teen, an elementary, and a toddler that's, free admission, so we don't have to worry about what their ticket is. What are we doing? Oh, no budget limits, and they're gonna go, let's say 4 days this time.
Okay. I think we're going to do 1 park per day. We're going to do 1 day at California Adventure, 3 days at Disneyland. And also we're going to do a little extra strategy there. So we're going to do 1 park per day. We're going to do Lightning Lane because those teen and older kids, they want to get in those Lightning Lanes, and we're not paying for the toddler. So we've already saved some money there. So we're going to do 3 days Disneyland, 1 day California Adventure. After we've done the California Adventure day, we're going to evaluate, do we want to keep it as is? Because it's going to be easier to change from a Disneyland reservation to California Adventure. If your kids ended up loving California Adventure, you can make that switch. There's more attractions and things to do at Disneyland Park, but maybe 2 days, you've decided 2 days is enough, and it's the next day you're nearing and you want to do a little more California Adventure, you can switch that. Otherwise, you can just keep the Disneyland, but you have Lightning Lane for every day. And
I love
why
that.
are you going 5 days? Because it's a 5th day free ticket.
So true. And if you can get the 5th day free, just get it and hop into the park on arrival night for a few hours. Or if you're not leaving till a little later in the morning, you can go over and get some beignets for breakfast. I don't know, like Mickey shaped beignets, because I know you can get different ones downtown. But yeah, definitely. I love the insight you had. Basically, it's not a one size fits all, and there's a lot to take in to account. And if you are struggling with it, reach out. Jessica, are you still helping people with these things? Because I help people with these things. We do calls and things to talk them through. I don't know if you still
For
do.
sure. The best way to reach me like directly is through email, and it's Jessica at thehappiestblogonearth.com. But through social is great as well. But in email, it's going to come to me and I will not miss it.
Yeah. And you can reach me at Becca at themeparktipsgal.com. Again, comes directly to me, and we can talk and we can help you through it. Just make sure you let us know you came from this Castle Talk Radio episode so that we can make sure you get the Castle Talk Radio deals. And we will see you real soon with your multi-day, single-day Lightning Lane ticket, because that is where Jessica is at. Apparently, that's the way to go. And we'll see you at Disneyland.
You've been listening to Castle Talk Radio. For exclusive discounts on tickets and hotels, free guides, and to listen to past episodes, visit castletalkradio.com.